So we just watched a police activity video before the show. I am a little torn on it. Kyle, can you break down what happened?
So it looked to me like they're in New York, and a couple NYPD cops are pursuing this guy who doesn't want to stop. He's like running from them, and they all end up on the ground wrestling. Two cops on one guy, and the guy pulls out a concealed handgun and starts shooting the cops, and he shoots them both. And the cop pulls his gun out, and he can see the bad guy's foot. The bad guy's not wearing any goddamn shoes, and trust me, he should have worn some steel toes, because that cop starts drilling his feet with bullets into the concrete like it's a nail gun. He's going, "Paka, paka, drop that gun. Yeah, drop it, I said. Paka." And it's like, dude, you're gonna blow his whole foot off eventually. I can see black marks, like sooty black marks from the tip of the barrel. Like he's touching the guy's ankle and giving him bullets through his foot into the asphalt.
He's shooting him so directly in the. This is how I would shoot someone in the foot to be sure I got it. Like,
I mean,
barrel pressed,
100% accuracy from the cop. I thought it was a great shoot. Because, like, the guy is shooting the cops.
I didn't even catch that. I heard him say drop the gun, but I couldn't see the perp's gun. Did you see it?
You see it at the very end. Okay. They get it away from him. Look, black semi-automatic gun. I don't know what the fuck it was.
I got a question. You guys are going to know the answer to this. But if you hold your pistol against something, like a bale of hay or a chest or whatever, does it cycle still?
Oh, you could actually fuck up the cycle if you were pushing into him, right? Yeah. Actually,
it may not ever even fire because it's something that's called out of battery. I was looking to see the nearest Glock, but if it's out of battery and the slide is pushed back ever so slightly, you could pull the trigger and it won't go off.
Right, yeah, that's what those ninjutsu guys are teaching you when they're grabbing the gun. Has anybody ever done that? Like demonstrated that to you? Like tried to grab the pistol out of your hand?
I've seen a lot of people demonstrate it. I don't think I've ever seen somebody do it in a practical, real world environment.
All right, I was at those Tech machine gun shoots in Tennessee somewhere, and there was an Israeli guy. He was the bodyguard for a firearm company owner, and he was doing the technique on people. And I was like, please take this pistol from me. And what he's doing is slapping the inside of your wrist so hard that like the tendons or whatever kind of like automatically release the gun. He took that fucking gun from me.
How close were you?
Oh, point blank. You have to get within arm's reach and be like, all right, grab it.
Would you ever allow that to happen when you were holding a gun?
No.
You have to count on the guy being melee distance with a ranged weapon.
Speaking of guns, the AK-50. How was that journey?
That was a journey that's been going on for just over, I think, 8 years now. And we finally got that all finished on, I think back in, the real story is we got it finished, I think back in like November-ish. And we were just spending so long on the video that it didn't actually come out until like May of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just wanted, it was going to be my love letter to the whole project. So we wanted to take our time on it and whatnot. I was pretty happy with the way that it turned out, but
so what's the plan there? Is that just a toy that you're like, look what I got? Or is you thinking about selling some?
Fill the viewers and I in. You guys made a semi-auto AK-50. Is that right?
Yes. So we basically from ground up, we rebuilt using the AK platform, a 50 BMG semi-automatic rifle, which is, so think about like a Barrett, but operating system of an AK. And that took a long time. I started it before I knew jack shit about weapon design, which is a terrible place to start.
Mm-hmm.
But after, bringing some employees in and whatnot, and really just learning a lot about, what works, what doesn't work, trying, failing, and just building, 3 real big iterations of it, we finally got, a finished functional gun. And
is this a one-off or something that you're selling?
So we're not really sure yet. Originally, we were going to do. What's funny is that's entirely 3D printed. that mock-up right there. But we don't really know yet. We're looking into it. We've got a couple manufacturing partners, and I'd love to at least do a small run of these. But who knows? I think a lot of it changed after the Kentucky ballistics situation. So that was
what happened there.
He had a RPG or a gun blow up. He also gun RPG.
Someone else had an RPG blow up. Was that also him?
So both are friends of mine. One is Scott from Kentucky Ballistics. It was a 50 cal specifically that blew up. And then Adam from Ballistic High Speed was the one that had the RPG explode. Had just a round dent in the tube. And actually, they got airlifted to the same hospital.
Hilarious.
Same
With-
room.
Frequent
the
flyer
RP
miles.
With the RPG, did they make that, or was that did they make? What was that?
So that was a real RPG that was, I believe it was reactivated.
Okay.
But I
Where'd they
think
get
it was
the
a
warhead?
problem with the round. Whoever manufactured the round, I'm kind of talking out of my ass on this.
Mhm.
They told me, but it was a long time ago.
Was it like a new manufacturer or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That was sketchy. That was sketchy. That's what I always wanted to do, was make RPG rounds. I was like, that's why I got a Type 10 and an explosives.
That's why you were so careful, Kyle, when you were doing gun videos, to never do sketchy stuff.
No. When I see him like blow up like that with the RPG, I'm like, dang, I wish that was me. That's a cool fucking clip.
Well, this was pretty close. Like,
Oh no, I'd be unconscious on the ground, bleeding or dead. That looked super sketch. That's one of the sketchiest things I've ever seen.
You
How
really
bad were the
can't see
injuries?
it, but he had like burns all over his body. Like the next time I saw him was a couple months later, and he had like he looked like a Hot Topic teenage girl, just because he had the long sleeves with the fucking over the thumbs and whatnot. Like it was all wrapped, like it was all from the burns.
Is he
That's
going to
terrible.
heal just fine, or like a burn victim?
He's gonna be pretty fucked up. Like you'll be able to tell that something definitely happened to him. But I mean, for what it was, like he had nerve damage in his face from all sorts of shit. Like it was pretty bad. He's honestly remarkably lucky to be alive.
I don't
they
know this
test
person
fired?
at all. Is he
Like,
likely to have all the health insurance money that he needs to get better?
He'll be fine. I just think that Vanderbilt Hospital's getting fucking tired of YouTubers.
so did he burn his face, or just a little damage on the face?
Face is mostly fine. He had some nerve damage from I think something that impacted it. But other than that, he
It was
good injury.
a largely arm burn. He could do some workouts, end up looking pretty hardcore with the
Also get a
arm
full
burn.
sleeve
chest.
tattoo, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that would look cool.
I
It's kind of like, have you
just-
seen those people that get struck by lightning, like in their shoulder, and it gives them a lightning tat? Apparently, that's not even permanent, but once you get that, you should tattoo it and make it.
Absolutely.
Because that's pretty cool.
I wish I could.
That means
struck by
God
lightning so I could
favors
have that tattoo. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Did he test put it in a vice and put a trigger on a string on the trigger and test fire one of them bitches before he went hands on?
So funny enough, they had been firing it all day. They had been firing it all day. It was, I think, it was the last round of the day, one way or the other. But it was one of their last ones, and it was fucking crazy.
Man, that's so scary. One of the things that we always heard about was maybe Cambodia. They're like, yeah, you can go to Cambodia, you can shoot a water buffalo with an RPG. It costs as much money. And I'm like, where do they get the rounds? Soviets left a bunch there like 40 years ago. Like, wait, they've been sitting in soggy ass Cambodia for 40 years, and you want to go into the jungle in a third world country and shoot them at an animal?
No, the Cambodians who are selling rights to hunt their neighbors' cattle are upstanding guys, and they keep all those in the proper warehouse.
And I'll be honest, I would shoot a water buffalo with an RPG, but I don't want to go off into a
Wasteful.
jungle and get hurt.
Wasteful
Like, one of
and
the things-
despicable that you would do that to an animal that's not even one of the bad ones.
I pay them. I pay the villagers, and they would use that money to buy bushels of rice and water purification tablets.
Take out take out a tiger
people
that's
need.
terrorizing the Cambodians or whatever their day-to-day problems are. Don't.
Well, I would never
No.
shoot a tiger. They're beautiful.
We have different ethics.
Look, if I give a village clean water for the first time, I think I'm entitled to at least one buffalo or water buffalo.
Yes.
That's fair.
You know what? You should actually charge them a bit of an arm and a leg so they realize how nice what you gave them is. Maybe a couple days hungry while they have the clean water, they'll be like, we need to take better care of our water. Because every week, Mr. Beast can't keep doing this forever. He brings them fresh water and then he goes back later and he's like, guys, this is all dirty now. Give me this nice water jug. I don't even know
Especially
how
if the staff keeps accosting minors.
Yeah, when he's got all that going on. That's got to be so
Dude, what if
stressful for Jimmy when he's running the biggest YouTube channel on earth and he's like, all right, I got this business meeting and this and that and this and that. By the way, I'm Assistant Beast. Jimmy, your right-hand guy has been caught grooming. He's like, oh, this is horrible news. And people are, but at least I can't be blamed. No, whole internet, and like a huge portion of the internet's blaming him for something that seemingly he had no knowledge of, didn't know about.
Well,
not implicated.
I think there's an opportunity for us to fill in as a low budget Mr. Beast. I'm going to show up with 48 bottles of water in Kenya. Clean water from PKA. Here you go, boys.
You just like don't get the spirit of it. You're like, I took 100 Kenyan kids and put them in the octagon. And everyone's like, this is horrible. And he's like, I guess I just don't get the algorithm, guys. Like, I just
number of people plus location equals views. I don't get it.
It's true.
What am I doing wrong?
And it's you with like the big soy face, open mouth on the thumbnail, with like a hungry, distended belly kid.
I think Zach's onto something. I think I would actually switch that. I would rather go to like an uncontacted tribe or something and just do one of those drone shows above them.
Ooh.
Just see what happens.
Them. Yeah. And then you'd have to show up right afterward. They'd think you were God or the devil. That's the risk, you know?
Yeah. No real way to communicate that.
I think my old YouTube idea is still like in this modern age, it's coming to the point where our morals have drifted so low that I think it could work. Bums night out, I'm referring to, of course. This is when you go find yourself a real homeless man, preferably with some vices, and you give him $10,000 and he can do whatever he wants with it, but he's got to get it spent tonight. Like you hold the money, he tells you what to do with it. It's got to all get gone tonight. And you just follow him around that night with cameras. And, you know, you could right from the start, I think it would be smart as a production thing. I don't think this is really fakery to be like, and by the way, that limo is $2,000. If you want to hop in there, we can start the night. And like, I just want to put this homeless man in the limo. I want to follow him around while he scores drugs. I guess let him spend the money at that part.
Can't we do this for 1,000? 700. I could do this for 700. Why's it got to be 10 grand?
Because the limo is just a random Uber.
Oh God! Speaking of great lungs, you sent me that link earlier from that huffing subreddit. There's a subreddit dedicated to people who huff shit, and the guy was showing that he was like, basically they post pictures of like weird shit they've been huffing, and he's like, yo bros, you tried this yet? And it'll be like PVC pipe glue, and I'm like, yeah, that does smell good actually. Every time I've ever done any PVC work, I'm like, man, that smells nice. Then some guy will have like acetone for auto paint or something like that, some sort of paint thinner stuff. Taylor posts one, and the guy has Black Widow Killer, and he's like, yo, 12 hits of this and you see the doo-doo man.
Yeah, it's all misspelled, but it says every time 11, and it's a picture of Taro Spider Killer, that big orange can. And it goes,
not do this, people.
Every time 11 huffs fine, 12 huffs poop man come. And then it didn't write anymore after that. I guess the poop man came. And did you scroll to the other picture, Kyle?
No.
There's a picture of what he's huffing, and then you hit the right arrow, and it's a picture of a poop-stained mattress. And so this guy is clearly huffing so much Spider Killer that he's shitting himself. He's like an alcoholic waking up the next morning and being like, oh, why do you always take that 12th puff? Like,
it's kind of like that one. It's like after 2,500 milligrams, the Hat Man does not respect gender pronouns.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hat Man, he's the Benadryl.
Robitussin.
Yeah, Benadryl.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Robitussin is a real drug that people use if they can't get Tussinex. Or I guess Robitussin is not the real drug version of Tussinex, right?
Used to be, maybe, I think.
I was talking to a friend of mine, like, who was way too deep into codeine and Tussinex and that shit in like his early mid-20s. We were just having a game night the other night, and he was talking. He's like, oh yeah, it got bad. And there were times, you know, I would go in and I'd go to my local clinic and I would say, I had the whole thing rehearsed. I'd say, I have dark green phlegm. I've been coughing so much my throat hurts. And then when the nurse would say, are you allergic to anything? I'd very casually go, oh yeah, my main doctor said I can't have something called codeine. And if you can't give them codeine, that means they have to get Tussinex. And he's like, and it was great, dude. We had a great thing rolling for a while. I'd go and I'd get this giant bottle of Tussinex, and then I'd bounce around to different clinics like a couple of times a week. And then eventually he got banned from one of the clinics because they realized, like, this dude isn't fucking sick. There's no way you have the flu again, sir, for the 11th time in 2 months.
So Tussinex, that's the stuff that lets you see the...
Tussinex is like Robitussin, but it has no acetaminophen in it, I believe. And so it's like it's like Vicodin. I think it's liquid Vicodin, and that's an opiate. Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
So it's like
I don't
instead of
know why
taking the pills, you're getting the liquid. And I don't know much about this class of drugs. The way he explained it to me was that like a tiny sip of that, so like 5 milliliters or something of that Tussinex was equivalent to a much larger amount of actual Vicodin pills. And so he and a couple guys I knew would
that
bounce
is
around.
codeine.
And do
Okay,
that.
it's something else. I think what it is he was probably telling me he was allergic to acetaminophen, and they were giving him so he could
That
get
must be
codeine.
what it is. Yeah.
Because codeine is the best drug. Like it, I
hate
understand. It's so good. It makes you a little itchy, but you get used to that.
I think I'm not having a typical experience. It makes me like get like a throbbing kind of headachy type thing. And as you know, I get into it all the time. Yeah, it's the worst. And I get off it as fast as possible. I prefer pain.
You might be like me because I'm allergic to a lot of painkillers. Like I have a bad reaction every time. Like I just get like headaches. I get nauseous. Like a bunch of
Weird.
stuff.
It's a good thing to be allergic to. Those things are dangerous.
Is it? What if you're ever burnt?
They'll just give
What if an
you.
RPG explodes on you and you're like, no, not the good stuff. I'm allergic.
I'm
I'll take a
allergic.
little nausea of
Give me
half my
something
body.
non-habit forming.
Give me
Those
something
are
non-habit
fourth-degree
for-
burns. That marrow is cooked.
It's
If
like
I
when
was like
it's like
fucking
when-
Two-Face, fuck me up.
Oh yeah, it's worth being a bit itchy if that's the alternative. I'm scrolling through this huffing community top all time, and it's so funny. Like I know some of these people are trolling. Obviously, the same thing with the gang stalking. But that tarot thing, the poop man come, that was the top all time post there. The second one is just the guy who says psych ward, and he's in a psych ward.
Why do they give him a phone in the psych ward?
Dude,
dude, mugshots of paint huffers. That's
Those are fun. Can you roll some of those up, Zach? Just find us some good paint huffing mugshots because they genuinely are hilarious. I remember a cops episode and the cops roll up and there's this guy with spray paint all over his face and he's limping and they're like, "What happened, Otis?" He's like, "Goddamn kids threw me off the bridge again." These kids came along and found this poor old homeless man so out of his mind on paint he couldn't resist, and they tossed him off a small bridge.
what? I'm a
Looks like
Warriors
he's ready.
fan.
He's ready to steal Christmas.
He does. Dude, that's fucking Temu.com, Jim Carrey.
Oh, witness me. I like this guy.
What color would you be? What color would you get, Taylor?
What the closest to my beard color?
Oh, I bet you could huff real good. I feel like a beard would allow you to like keep
you
some
store it.
residual.
Yeah.
You might get overdosed quickly.
Flavor
The
saver
black
for huffing.
the black eye almost like you almost can't tell. You know,
Dude,
what I mean?
that guy's
joke.
He's like,
that guy's
give me Hickory
wasteful.
Brown. Do y'all have Krylon Hickory Brown?
Is there
Shit.
something about metallic paints that makes it better? Everyone's choosing them.
I think it's just because the people that did it with the beard and they did a natural color didn't get caught.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
That's true.
It's that the people who are stupid and awful enough to huff gold sparkle paint are also very much likely to get arrested while huffing
Yeah.
gold sparkle
And
paint.
you know what else?
I'll
I
do
would
that
not-
to the president.
I bet genuinely that price is an
There you
object to these people. And so they're probably getting the cheapest spray stuff they can. So like maybe house color or like wall color is less or more expensive than
Damn.
gold.
I
You know,
choose to believe they
sparkles.
go to
Let
Home
him
Depot.
huff some paint. Jesus.
They go to Home Depot, huff right in the aisles, and try to walk out unnoticed.
I'm sorry.
You can't prove anything.
Wait, excuse me. Where's plumbing? Like, just fucked up
They
covered
do.
paint.
They genuinely do that all the time. Mitty, my friend that worked store security for a while, they'd catch a guy and there'd be like 3 or 4 empty cans at his feet, and he'd be trying to kill the fifth. Or that there was one guy that like hid in the bathroom overnight, like stood on the toilet so they didn't notice, and they found him in the morning, passed out in a pile of keyboard dusters. By the way,
That's
have
what
you ever-
Steve-O used to do. Yeah.
keyboard dusters have this additive in them, as I'm sure many products do, that tastes so horrific. Like there's no high worth that. There's no high worth. You know how if you lick deodorant accidentally, how that weird thing it does to your tongue? It's
Yeah.
like that plus the bad part of a pecan. And it
Yeah.
won't go away. Yeah, it's terrible.
I've told before. I went to high school with guys. 4 of them got a job working at the grocery store after school, solely to do the whippets. That's it's when what is it? It's not Cool Whip. What is the Ready Whip? the can one.
Well, Whippet is a brand. There's 2 brands.
Oh, Whippet is a brand?
Yeah.
I think that's what they called getting the air out of a Ready Whip.
Sure. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So. Nitrous oxide in general. What do you call it when you've got like the canisters and stuff? Whippets. Yeah, it's the same thing. You call it the same shit.
Or
right?
nitrous oxide.
It's all nitrous
oxide. You can go.
Right?
Yeah, I've never done it, but I've seen degenerates on my cop videos, and I've seen, of course, on Amazon. You can go right on Amazon and buy like a Whippet kit. You can buy like all the canisters and like this dosing machine. You like put the canister in and like balloons up with it, or you can like shoot it straight from the machine or whatever. I saw this lady get pulled over. Her whole floorboard was full of CO2 cartridges. And it's like, oh, not CO2, but nitrous oxide, I guess. It's like, what are you doing tonight, ma'am? And they're just like picking dozens and dozens of them. They drive around and do Whippets.
Well, you can't do it just sitting still.
Yeah, they're trying to have a good time.
I think in this show, you were talking about it. I can't remember. It was either here or Steve-O. It was one of the two. But they were talking about how on Amazon, like they know exactly what the fuck you're doing because the increments they sell them in, like 1, 4, 24, or like 948 or some shit like that. Like, we know what you're after.
Yeah, I think we did go through the Amazon listing for that, and that there were people in the comments like leaving. Not so well coded
ever. You forget the whole day.
Totally delicious. I got a hangover, or like just stuff that doesn't make sense.
My kids don't talk to me.
Yeah, I hate myself.
Is it a bad drug? Because
4 stars.
I've done it.
What I'm wondering though is it a drug that you would associate with like bad people? Because like drugs definitely have that, right? Like you think when you think of the typical user of insert drug, like. Is that guy an ass? Oh, meth. I think of a white guy every time. He's missing some teeth. His hair's greasy. He's way too skinny.
This is good. Continue with your meth stereotype, and I'm going to do some rapid fire drugs. You're going to fill me in?
Yeah, I don't think I want to play this game anymore.
Yes, you did.
I associate nitrous oxide with hippies. That's when I associate
nitrous as like a party thing for
Grateful
younger
Dead.
people.
Steve Miller concert. Yeah, there was a guy there with what those like. If you were to buy like acetylene, the things. This was like neck high, good 4 or 5 feet tall canister of nitrous oxide. And he was just selling balloons full of it.
I bet you could turn that around and make so much money. I bet
he did. Yeah.
I bet that giant tank costs a few $100s, and he's probably selling thousands of dollars worth of balloons. How illegal is that? That's another one of those. I saw a YouTube video the other day, and the whole premise was these are all I tried all those legal drugs you've heard about, and he's like chewing beetle bark. He's taking salvia. He's taking all sorts of different drugs. He did red cap mushroom tea, and it just I knew those drugs were legal, but I didn't think that they were.
Are they any good?
Yeah, that's what the video was about. Varying degrees of either like
what
really
was the
good
most tempting one?
I didn't watch the whole video, but I watched the red cap tea part where he was. By the way, red cap mushrooms are deadly in the right quantity, but he was eating the right quantity and making a tea of it, and he seemed like he was super like relaxed. He compared it to
almost dying,
like Xanax. He said it was like a few Xanax. He said he was like really chilled out, and it helped with sleep. He said.
Speaking of guns that look cool but are kind of overrated, Kyle, you remember this bad boy?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Is that the one you chopped the tree down with?
Shit. Fuck no! That is the biggest piece of shit.
What is it?
Is it USAS 12 or something or something weird like that?
Yep, it's the USAS. It's the UTAS or it's the UTS 15.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it is such a piece of shit. I actually was telling people to be careful while we were filming with it because we were doing a Helldivers 2, like because it's basically the shotgun from Helldivers 2, and we were telling them to be careful because I was showing them your video. You had like 3 break on you,
3 or 4 maybe. Like they sent me 4 or 5, and they just kept breaking and falling apart. I can remember there were ball bearings. Like I was shucking it and like trying to clear it, and there's like ball bearings and springs popping and jumping around inside the weapon. And we didn't beat these up. These were new in the box, shot some oil on them, and went and started to film. And each segment of my video, it's like, all right, we're going to shoot a toilet now. Let's see what lasts longer, the toilet or this piece of shit. And like, I think the gun might have broken. They kept, those were the shittiest things anybody's ever sent me. That's the shittiest gun I've ever actually.
What'd you do in the video with it, Kyle? That wasn't the one you shot a tree down. You chopped the tree down with a shotgun.
Yeah, that was like a magazine-fed Turkish, like
the Mark 19,
yeah,
something like that.
Mark 19 or Mark 7, something like that. 1919 or maybe it had a stupid name like that, but it was that was like just a mag-fed shotgun.
Oh, I have them mixed up then.
Yeah, that thing beat the shit out of me too. But no, those things are garbage. Why do you have that?
Literally just for the video and because I didn't have one. Other than that, like I knew in my head while I was buying it, I'm like, oh, this will be great because Helldivers is like the new thing, whatever. So we did a video with that. But I in the back of my head, all I could think of was your video, and I had to rewatch it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure these are fucking trash, right? And yeah,
time when like Keltec had the KSG or whatever, and then some other companies were coming up with shotguns that held a shitload of bullets, basically in multiple tubes, or maybe they'll even stick 2 barrels on there. They were trying to do funky stuff like that, and that was the cheapest, shittiest iteration of that idea of all time. It's so
also
bad.
Turkish as it comes out. So yeah,
Brandon,
Turkish guns are very affordable and cheap. I could never keep my dad when he goes to a gun show from like coming back with a handful of Turkish semi-automatic shotguns. He's like, they were 3 for $500. What could I do?
you're very affordable.
yeah, about
just
bad
not very
guns.
good.
If there's a bad guy that kicks your door down, what gun do you wish was in your hands?
I value my hearing a lot now. So like I like my MP5 SD. That's really quiet.
Okay.
I had a suppressed MP5 on the wall for a while, but now I've got a suppressed Scar 17 and a suppressed AR 15.
Well, that'll do it. Probably. Yeah.
Submachine gun and a whatever black scary rifle.
Yeah,
I'm a simple Missouri boy. I'd probably use my shotgun. And
Yeah,
then just deal
that was
with
my
the
choice
report
too.
in my ears going on afterward.
I didn't think of the noise.
I just got to the point that if I'm gonna, I need to conserve as much hearing as I have left. So I kind of want just whatever I'm shooting, I want it to be suppressed, at least somewhat quiet.
That's fair. You probably already have like, what is that thing Archer has?
Military grade tinnitus. Yes.
Yeah. So you always have to like listen to a podcast or music or something. Otherwise it's
You joke around. I have a fan on high when I sleep. And if I go to like a hotel, I just put on rain noise.
That's nice
like
anyway.
Flashbang.
Woody, he said they might put the his gun in Tarkov. The 50 caliber AK.
Really?
So that would be really cool. I've talked to Nikita about it. He's interested. So we'll see if they pick it up, and we'll see how. I know they've got a million fucking things to work on, so we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, they
it
do.
actually
It's fucked up.
Yes.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Man, so
that is horrible.
terrible render.
No,
Now, what
somebody
about
they
this
actually
for home
put it in
defense?
New Vegas. Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't actually mention that, but they just put it in Call of Duty.
Oh, that is
Oh, that's sick.
That's a bigger deal than Tarkov by a landslide.
Yeah, by a
pretty cool.
huge amount.
The only difference is Tarkov did it with my permission.
Oh.
Call of Duty just ripped it, which I'm making a video on that now. Actually, I postponed that video to do this podcast because I love you boys.
Oh, well, thank you, man.
They
God, those sons of bitches.
Colonizers.
I was like, if you would have
asked.
asked, I would have said yes.
You should make them put you in as a playable character now as recompense.
Ooh.
I don't think they would ever touch.
Or
Like,
a player of your choice. So like
Brandon
maybe
skin.
like you can talk him into, I don't know, Hank Hill. Like
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney
Genius.
naked.
There you
No
go.
merkin.
The Woody stipulation. No, I know why they wouldn't touch somebody like me. It's not like I'm, oblivious. I'm like, oh, I should be a kid. No, I get it. I fucking understand.
It's fine though. When I run for office in later life, all this will all blow over.
I mean, they
these,
seem to be-
all these things I've said.
They're so. It seems so corporate now. If you look at the playable characters in COD, it's people like Nicki Minaj. I think Snoop Dogg might have been one, but now it's like characters from all the different universes seem to be in everything. I know that's cool. That's so cool with the fighting games. I think it's dumb as shit to be able to play as Homelander in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like that's retarded.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
But if I'm playing like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or whatever, some fighting game, and it can be the Terminator versus Homelander, that's the best universe ever. Yeah, that's so cool. Well, that's cool.
But it was a really bizarre experience to be able to play Modern Warfare, the new Modern Warfare 3 or whatever, using my gun. It was just a very odd, because I haven't played Call of Duty in years, but to be able to murk people with a gun that I've spent 8 years building is kind of a fucking wild experience.
Was it frustrating where you're like, yes, my gun's in the game, and you're like getting nade spotted and like killed because you haven't played in so long?
Well, markers with a 50 BMG.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I had to fucking unlock it first, so that was really, I had to reintegrate. But what's worse is getting fucking killed by your own gun. That feels a little poetic.
That's disheartening. Yeah.
I read this rant at that time that I would like. French policemen should be ashamed. Like, say what you will about American police, and there's sometimes a little gung-ho attitude. They don't get pushed around by criminals. That's what I said after the French were just like too scared to go in there and do anything. Since then, Uvalde has happened, and we have pussified police as well.
I hated that so much. It's just the worst. I was like, wear your hat a little lower today, Texas.
Uvalde was in my district. And so I spent a good bit of time there. And it was kind of shitty because the media is just like, gun tuber runs for Congress in Uvalde. It's like, well, no, Uvalde by population is like 2% of my district. Like, stop making it sound like I'm running for mayor of Uvalde. But I still, like, the more I learned about that situation running in that area, the more I was like, Jesus Christ, you guys really did fuck that up. Like, I've been like, if you drive through Uvalde, like Kyle, you've probably done it on the way to Ox.
I'm sure.
You pass by the school, and then 3 minutes later, you pass by the police dispatch.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad.
It's right really there.
Huh. Yeah, I just don't understand how you don't go in there. Like you don't have to be a hero to know. Like, it's your job to do that. You've got a gun. They're killing kids in there. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go now. Like now. We saw that good shoot like a few weeks after, where there was a trans person shooting up
Nashville.
It may have been. I just remember being on board with the cop with his POV and him being like, "Go, go, go! Give me the keys! Give me the keys! I need 2 on me. We're breaching left. You get that back door." He took command. It was
Taylor. Both of those cops came to the range day.
Oh, sick!
Really?
It was Rex and Colazzo. They both came. Those guys are fucking rad.
That's cool. I bet they're pretty good.
They did exactly what you would want. Like
they did what you'd hope a policeman would do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was the one where the trans shooter, but it was like she was laying in like the corner on a second story over a railed balcony, or is that a different one?
I mean, she was like, at the end.
By the end, she was.
Yeah, there you go. But that was like her last stand, right?
Correct.
That's what I'm picturing.
They went up a flight and then they step over like a 6-year-old or something, like all the way there. It's so fucking awful.
Yeah. She I forget like which way that was going, but she was using like Kel-Tec Sub 2000 of all things.
Yep.
Too. It's like, Jesus,
very familiar.
You too, then it's like that is one of the choices of all time.
It's a real piece of shit. That's the gun that I like let Scott pepper spray me, and then I tried to shoot 2-liter bottles, and I was immediately realized that pepper spray blinds you.
That's when you were like, okay, maybe we take a short break.
Yeah, literally. That was god awful. Have you ever been full on pepper sprayed?
No.
You have, Brandon?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not fun.
It's awful.
Yeah. How long did it bug you? Like, how long were you
All right, so in my case, I was prepared for it, right? Because it wasn't like usual where you're attacking some lady and she gets the drop on you with the pepper spray.
Like usual, like your casual Friday night.
Yeah, that's how most people get pepper sprayed.
Usually you pop around the side of the dumpster and then she's just...
I thought she wanted it.
She did the rights.
I just went to the gun store and I was like, do you have pepper spray? And they're like, yeah, that's the stuff that prison guards use over there. It's Saber Red with OC spray. I was like, give me a can. And I had milk. I had a jug of milk on the tailgate, and I had the hose ready. So right away afterwards, I was able to start getting clean. So that helped a lot. But still, there was so much burning that I couldn't really do much or see for like 20 minutes of like continuous cleaning and the snot. the amount of mucus that you produce from the OC, it's ungodly. You become a mucus machine. It's like the worst cold you've ever had, but it's all loose and it won't stop. And after a while, you're like, you blow so much out, but you're still not clear. So your next breath in is sucking mucus in, and you're just like, pulling it out of you. It's bad.